What is the connection with Courteney Cox?
Basically I played the Nokia Theatre in 2013. It was my 22nd birthday, and Bill Lawrence, who had written Scrubs and he'd written Cougar Town, which Courtney was on, he came to the show with his daughter Charlotte, who is now a very successful singer. And we met them backstage. I took a picture with Charlotte, and it was all very, very sweet. And then the next day I was at a restaurant, and Krista, Bill's wife, came up to me in a restaurant and said, thanks for being so sweet to my daughter yesterday. I'm going to my friend's tonight for a barbecue. Do you want to come? I was like, okay. So I went with them to the barbecue, suddenly arrived, and it's Courteney Cox's house. And I'm like, it's like maybe like the second or third time that I'd been like properly in LA, around like LA-ness. And I was just like, oh, wow, like this is really, really random. Anyway, so she's super sweet. She brings out the guitars, we have a jam, and then she's just like, you can crash here if you want, because you're so far from your hotel. And I just never left. I just lived there for the whole time I was in Los Angeles that year. And then my best friend, who I make all my records with, I introduced him to Courtney. They've been dating since then as well. And they're just as friends of mine. They're in like the very, very top tier bracket. I mean, she's like one of my best friends.
I don't think I realized that you actually lived with her for a year.
Yeah. She has like a beach house cabana, and she was just like, just move in there. And so I'd like every now and then go up and like steal food or whatever. But I was just there. She's great.
So you didn't realize at the time while you were staying there for a year that she'd be able to ask you for anything, because you were living there rent free. So she hits you up and she says, I want you to join me with this Lisa Kudrow, honoring a Lisa Kudrow song, and you have to say yes.
No, well, that was my idea. That was my idea. So her idea was the routine, to do the dance, the Ross dance, and then that we kind of put that up, and it went gangbusters, and everyone was sharing it and stuff like that. And I had invited Elton John and his husband David over for dinner at Courtney's on Wednesday, and in my mind I was like, I don't know if Elton's ever seen the Lisa Kudrow bit where she sort of thinks that Tiny Dancer is Tony Danza, but I was like, if there's ever a time to do that, now's the time. And Elton's such a good sport anyway that he like went along with it, and yeah, it was good.
It was fantastic. It really is. Well, the song is coming out today, and we're going to get to that here in just 1 second. I think this Lisa Kudrow thing, and you have really made an art sort of being on hiatus, yet still being, I don't want to say relevant, because you're never not going to be relevant, but still people see you all the time, which must give you some kind of balance. Yeah,
I think for me, I'd been off social media for like 18 months, and my record, I've got to be honest, man, I don't like social media at all. But my record label were kind of like, hey, you're coming back now, like do some posts and get people talking again. And it just so happened that Courtney then asked about the routine, and then that sort of has now brought everything back. I'm just so like plugged out of it. I don't really know what's cool, what's hip, what to do. Like I'm just learning about TikTok now. Like I haven't had a phone since 2015. I just work off iPad and email, but it's I'm learning.
That's fantastic. Now, when you tell your record folks or the people around you that you want to do these hiatuses, which I think you've done twice now, are they just freaking out? Like, dude, you can't, there's no model for this. You can't do this.
Well, I think every time that I've gone away and come back with an album, it's done better than the last album. And I think for them, it's kind of they're obviously like keen to have the album out this year, but like they're not, no one was like pressuring me last year to put it out, because I think you'd rather have an album and a product, in invert commas, be perfect and actually have it do well than do something that was like half cooked. So I think the record label are like, they're a really good bunch of people, and they understand that to get the best results out of an artist, you just have to like allow them to have their time.
Yeah, the single Bad Habits comes out today. We're going to get into that in 1 second. This is like a new model, because I think in your industry and in Los Angeles, it's like work, die. And you've decided to go against that model. And was there a reason? Were you lacking balance? Were you lacking happiness? Where you're just like, I know that this is out of the box, but I've got to do this for myself and my mental health.
Yeah, I think there's elements of all of that. I think stepping back and actually like trying to get a routine of health is good. But I think for me, in terms of professionalism, like what do you, if you're on tour? I was on tour for 3 and a bit years, and I played in all these cities around the world, and you know didn't really do anything apart from like do the show and then go out and have a drink afterwards. And like, how do you write about life experience? My life experience was like so out of anyone else's experience that like I would just be writing songs about got on the plane, flew to this place, got to the hotel, you know. So for me, I was like, I need to actually go and live life, experience things that my friends are experiencing, you know, actually do human interaction to be able to write human songs. I find, yeah, I think for me, the main thing of having time off is soaking in life and then being able to write about your experience of it. Because when you're on tour, it's sort of like life goes on pause, and you're just kind of going through the motions, which is great, but it doesn't really reflect well in creative songs, I guess.
Was there any part of you like nervous that I'm Ed Sheeran, this is my identity? If this all goes away when I take this hiatus, what is my life going to look like? Did you ever have to struggle with that internal question?
Yeah, well, I felt that when the tour ended because, you know, that's me. I just always tour. I just tour and I write songs and blah, blah, blah. And when the tour ended, there was like a sort of had to get over the fact that was probably the peak of my career at 28 and be like, everything kind of goes downhill from here. And I had to kind of get over that and just see it as an amazing period of my life rather than like something that I needed to claw back. And I just kind of like, right, that was cool. And I think the biggest thing for me was trying to find other hobbies, because my hobbies are playing music and writing music. And I was like, I can't just be defined by one thing. So I just started trying to find things that I was into. I got really, really into painting and did quite a bit of that.
Are you any good at it?
I don't know. I mean, the people, I don't really say, I've sold 2 for charity and they both sold for quite a bit of money, but I don't know if that's just because they were the only ones sold for charity. But I paint them and send them to friends, and my friends hang them in their houses, so I guess they must like them, kind of.
You got to search this story this week about the dude that sold the invisible sculpture.
Oh yeah. I think that's genius. I don't understand any of this like NFT thing. I'm looking at that and like this guy selling sculpture. I just don't know why you would buy anything you couldn't see or touch. I don't understand it.
Well, here's something that you can see and you can touch. Bad Habits is out today. It's an exciting day for Ed Sheeran, exciting day for his fans. Tell us about the song, tell us about the inspiration for it, and where does one even get inspiration to perform and write in a pandemic?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on. I mean, with everyone. I mean, everyone was having new life experiences in the pandemic, so there's so much stuff to write about, I think. There was never a lack of topics to talk about or sing about. Yeah, I think it's been a very strange year for everyone.
Yeah, really. And tell us about Bad Habits.
Bad Habits is a song I wrote in January that, you know, is essentially the concept of the song is how everyone's bad habit, you can have like one small bad habit that then actually leads to a big one that leads to a big, you know how like, so I'll like start my night. I gave up smoking in like 2017, but I will have like a beer and then maybe like another beer and then maybe a bottle of wine, and then maybe suddenly you're like eating fast food, and then suddenly you might like light up a cigarette, and then like there's so many, you know, like a singular beer can lead to a night of real debauchery, and that's kind of what the Bad Habits single was about.
Yeah, sure. And is there a video that's going to go along with it?
Yeah, the video is it's done by a director called Dave Meyers, who is incredible, and it's me as a vampire wreaking havoc.
Are you super comfortable in front of a camera doing videos and acting now, or it's still uncomfortable for you?
Yeah, it's always uncomfortable. I've never liked the way I looked, so I don't really like doing photo shoots or video. I mean, for my first album, my first like 4 videos, I wasn't in at all. They were just like, I had Rupert Grint play me. I had a guy, Matty, do some sign language. I just like made like little cameos in them. And then I did the Thinking Out Loud. So the Sing music videos with a puppet, and I wasn't meant to be in that. And they were just sort of like, oh, just do like one lip sync bit, and then they cut me into it, and like I didn't like that. But with Thinking Out Loud, I learnt the dance for it, and then that song blew up, and the video blew up, and I was like, oh well, maybe actually if I'm in music videos, it sort of connects the artist to the song, and fans get into it more. And ever since then, I've been doing music videos, and it's been going well.
Ed Sheeran, by far and away, like the most unaffected celebrity that I ever talked to, man. Good luck with the single. Bad Habits is out today. Video launch today also, or is that coming out later?
Yes, I hope so. I mean, like, yeah, Dave does a lot of CGI, so we're getting it ready, and if it's not ready, it's down to CGI. But yes, okay. Hopefully.
Appreciate your time, Ed. Good luck, man.
Nice one. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Nice one, man.
The Bert Show.